everyone, welcome to the channel again. Bosnia Rally is over, so I thought it was time to just talk about my experience there, how it was with Tenere, how was it organized, what specifically is it, what can you expect, and stuff like that. So first off, Bosnia Rally is a training rally. It's meant to train you to do rallies. That's about it. One of the best known examples, of course, is like the Dakar. But the big difference with this is a training rally, a real rally. This one has, for instance, rules. It's not a competition. They're not going to advertise who's fastest or not fastest. It's just they want you to learn and have a good time, and just focus on having the real off-road experience, part of on-road, and also having the security and the medical support if needed, so you don't have to do it alone. So the reason I did it was because first of all, also they say it's a training rally for the Roadbook, but you can also use the GPS, which I appreciate because I don't want to ride Roadbook. So you could do it with GPS. I appreciated the fact that they would come and get me when something went wrong. They had off-road support for that, and they also had a medical team standing by, so I felt very secure in doing dangerous stuff, so that's the best thing you can have, of course. So, like I said, focus on Roadbook. If you want to learn how to ride Roadbook, they have a lot of sessions that start in the beginning. Every night there's a session, I'm going to explain it later, that where they go over the entire Roadbook, what you're going to see. I just used the GPS, but still it's 5 days of riding. It's like 1,500 kilometers in total on those 5 days. 70-80% off-road, which is gravel going up, rocks. It's well, on its own, it's more than an adventure enough and a training enough. So the organization are a lot of volunteers. So it's not an organization that only does this. It's organized in a ski hotel. So you have the entire hotel for the group. The hotel is a little bit old, but I think that's more because of the country and the war and all that stuff that happened quite recently, or at least they didn't recover from that as well. But you have all the facilities you need. You can shower, you have the breakfast buffet, you have the evening food if you stay in a hotel, you have the restaurant. I mean, it's all there, it's okay. If you use the camping, so if you get there, it's not that someone will tell you what to do. You just take a camping spot somewhere, set up your tent, and then in the hotel you can find everything to shower and stuff like that. The next day you can register. There they show you where to get the GPS tracker. You do the technical checkup. They check if the GPS tracker is working, and that's about it. So don't expect too much organization-wise. You just come, you show up, get your tracker, get your number, and that's about it. Yeah, you can call them, of course, if you have troubles. Like I said before, they have the organization, but there's also a photo service, so guys who are 3 or 4 photographers who are going around taking pictures on a lot of the cool spots, where afterwards you can get a package sent to you with it's about 120 euros, a digital package with all photos from you. So I haven't, because I was sick for 2 days, unfortunately. I don't think I'm gonna get enough pictures of me, but it seemed worth it for me. So every morning you start at 8. Between 8 and 9:30 you can start. It's a starting place just like a normal rally. You go with a few riders, a small group, to the first checkpoint. On a checkpoint you get a stamp of what time you're going to leave, and then you start. So you're not in each other's way. I'm gonna include, I think the intro of this video will be the first ride into town. That's what they did Sunday evening. And Sunday evening we just, with all of the group, about 300 riders, we went to the village, it was a big ceremony, and then people singing, and the mayor was there, and everyone's very happy that we were there. So it was very cool. It was like, well, it's a little bit surreal actually, because it was almost like liberators in a village or something from a world war, where the people were standing outside waving, and the old grandmas were blowing kisses to you. Which was a very strange sensation, but it was cool to see. So that's. I just wanted to make sure that nobody thinks you have to start with a big group at once. You can just start whenever you want, between 8 and 9:30. If you start later as 9:30, you won't get a stamp. I was there at 9:31, and they didn't want to give me a stamp anymore, so that's not a problem. Just write whatever you want. Of course, if they don't see you at the morning, maybe make sure that that someone knows you started, so they can find you if you're not back in time. All right. Everything for the motorcycle, you have to take care of yourself. So, food, gas. There are fuel stations in every route. Like every 150 kilometers, you get a fuel station. So it should not be a problem. You make sure you're filled up before you leave, and it's all fine. Nobody's going to stop you to diverge from the track and get some support. They do warn you not to do it off-road, because you might actually end up in places where there are still landmines. So the last landmine was in 2008, was the last explosion from children playing, and a landmine exploded, as far as I could see in Google. But still, when you're driving off-road in the middle of nowhere and you decide to take a scenic shortcut, they really advise you not to do it. And yeah, I saw some impact craters, so I wouldn't do it as well. But if you have food and gas with you, it's fine. You'll get food and fuel with you. It's fine. You'll get everywhere you want to go. So it started between 8 and 9:30. They expect you to be back at 6. Mostly I was back at 4, so it's very doable. But I didn't go to restaurants or stuff. There were a lot of riders who just took our lunch break, which is of course perfectly fine. And then if I was with a big group, I would probably have done the same. So 6, 7 is way then is certainly possible for most riders. And at 9 there's a roadbook briefing for the next day, which takes about an hour and a half. Since I wrote GPS, I didn't follow it. Also because it was in German. They do have translation for English speakers or anything else than German speakers, but you need to have headphones for that, so make sure you bring that if you want to hear all the details and don't speak German. So what I expect from the tracks, it's like I said, it's like 70% off-road, 20-30% on the road section connecting them. Lots of very, very nice views, scenic views. Lots of hills, lots of gravel. Really make sure that you can drift, and because there were very steep hills going down with gravel, with dirt. Yeah, my bike wouldn't stop with me on it, and going a little too fast. You can't rely on brakes only. You just have to make sure that your speed's okay, your drifting is okay. But it's preserved everything. We went to water, we went to rocks, we went to sand, we went to the steeper rocks. It was all kind of stuff. There were a few sections that were labeled Enduro only, or people with all roads who felt very secure in their riding. For instance, one was a ski station going straight up, where you could decide, okay, take the long way around or just go right up. It really depends what you want to do. I wouldn't suggest doing it alone if you're on an old road, but it's all up to you. Of course, don't try to wreck your bike. If something happens, for instance, if you get a flat, expect you to try and solve it yourself, but if necessary, there were a lot of people willing to help who had tire machines. And there were some that actually were selling stuff, so it was not perfectly clear where and what, so you had to beg sometimes, but yeah, a lot of things could have been helped. I saw people changing shocks from one bike to another bike because one bike was completely good done, the other was maybe still riding and stuff like that. But, so yeah, for me, I didn't have anything spare with me, which was lucky for me that I didn't need anything except my GPS, and luckily someone helped me with that. So lessons learned for me: ride your own speed. So the first day I was feeling very good. I was following a lot of riders, passing a lot of riders, and just going. And I was following. At one point, I was following a guy, and he was just a little bit slower than me. And I was following. It was perfect actually. And then a group of very fast Tenere riders passed me, and I said, okay, I'm gonna follow them, which of course was a bad mistake. And then it started going straight down and gravel, turns, left, right, and that yeah, I was just going way too fast. And at one point, I was going so fast, something in my head just clicked, and I didn't remember how to turn my bike, and I just went into the bushes. Luckily, there were bushes, and just make sure that I didn't go off the hill, because it would have been a completely different story. So make sure you're very comfortable drifting. Like I said, unless you really want to struggle every corner, unless you really want to brake for every corner, you have to know how to drift. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. It is possible. Last day I still got I saw some riders who were trying to ride like they ride a street bike. There were MX riders, or people thinking they're MX drivers with their legs sticking out, trying to take corners on the Enduros and all roads. So it's possible, but like I said, use it as a training. And make sure you try to learn drifting before and perfect it on a day's riding. Use engine braking as much as possible. It was a very important one for me. Somewhere down the line I forgot that, which meant that in the first day at one point I was going down on road, luckily, and I just didn't have any rear brake anymore. It was just not responding and didn't do anything. Just overheated. Too much braking. I had to do engine braking more. The last days I made sure that I actually didn't need my rear brake. I tried to do engine braking as much as possible, almost constantly, and actually my speed increased doing that. So that was a lesson for me not to use that. And of course, be careful using the front brake, but that's something you should know already. One thing I failed with was my equipment. I made that GPS experiment, which worked great until the heat just destroyed it. What I mean is that even after 20-30 minutes of heat on the screen, it just completely shut down. So I didn't have a GPS for most of the tracks because my equipment just couldn't handle the heat. I did everything on my Michelin trackers, which are in the back 140 and our hub is 150, so they were a little bit stretched out, but still great tires. They did amazing. To be honest, I didn't compare them to other tires, so maybe other times will be more amazing, but for me they really worked. I had heavy duty inner tubes. They also did the job just fine. And rode on 1.6 bar in the front and 1.8 in the back. Looking back, maybe some of the reasons where I was drifting so much was because of those maybe too high settings, but no, anyway, I made it through, and I really enjoyed the experience. So Tenere did again great. I really love that bike. It's incredible how cool it is to ride it, just in every aspect. I ordered myself some extra wheels, so maybe next time I can go to there with my on-road tires and then change them over to the off-road wheels or stuff like that. But, and then sleep in a hotel, all things to see. But I really love the bike and it did extremely well. A special thanks to Stan. Stan gave me his backup GPS, which enabled me to ride the last 2 days, where I used the voice navigation in my headphones, just some old Bluetooth headphones, and then had a little Garmin on my bike, just to make sure that if they said left and there were 5 roads in the left, that I chose the right one. So it helped me immensely. It was very it made sure that I could follow the day. And then last, Jacob was rider 138. Jacob, if you hear this or see this, contact me on Facebook. I still owe you money. Last day we went through some kind of park, and because I probably wasn't on the briefing or didn't understand that German part, the park needed 5 marks, which is about 2.5 euros, so it's nothing. But I don't have any cash money, never. So I was stuck on the entrance of the park, and if Jacob didn't spot me some money, I wouldn't have been able to drive the last day. And it was very nice scenery, and well, it would have been a shame if I couldn't ride that. So thanks Jacob for that. Some little note on that. Might be a very big coincidence, but there were like 300 riders, where 11 Belgian riders, I don't know how many Polish riders, but every time something happened, for some reason, the ones that came to your aid were never the German riders. Like, were, I don't know, 200 German riders, 250 German riders. Okay. And for one reason whatsoever, when I was stuck there on that very steep hill with my Tenere, there were a lot of riders coming past me. The ones who stopped were just 2 Belgian guys who didn't even know I was Belgian as well. So yeah, thanks to them as well. And then Stan, of course, with GPS, but that's something else maybe, because I didn't tell everyone. And then Jacob was like the 15th person I asked for 2.5 euros, and the first one who was willing to help me out. So it was a little bit strange. But anyway, something I look forward to doing it as well. I've done it alone this time. I had a friend with me who took care of everything from the tent and the car, and getting food and supplies if needed, so very grateful to him. But it would be nice to, maybe next year I'll see that I find a team to ride which is about the same speed and bike as myself, because the other Belgian riders were all Enduro riders. Most of them were Enduro riders, so I would have slowed them down probably. So if you're thinking of doing this, I can certainly advise it. It was a great experience. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed the scenery views. And if you have any questions about the rally or whatever, just shout out in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.